Malawi Brief.
Aphungu a Nyumba ya Malamulo ayamba zokambirana zawo lero, ndipo nkhani yomwe yayambirira kumeneku ni nkhani yokhuzana zinthu zomwe zakhala zikuchitika ku South Africa pamene Amalawi komanso anthu amayiko ena akuthamangisidwa ku dzikolo. MP wina amene amayimira Lilongwe Likuni wapereka chiganizo chokuti Amalawi asiye kupanga support zinthu zochokera ku South Africa, mwachitsanzo kusiya kugula zinthu zimenezi zochokera ku South Africa chifukwa choti dzikolo likuzunza abale athu. Takhalani pomwepo kuti musatire zonse.
Present a state report of government's facilitated voluntary repatriation of Malawian nationals from the Republic of South Africa, and also on the situation of Malawians in South Africa. This is following the outbreak of anti-migrant demonstrations and vigilante violence in that country, and to seek the support and resources of this House to sustain and to conclude the exercise in a manner that protects and preserves the dignity, safety, and security of our nationals affected by this crisis. Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable members, the Republic of South Africa hosts the largest concentration of Malawian nationals outside our country. The majority of our compatriots there are employed in the informal sector and in the lower bracket of the labor force, in agriculture, construction, and retail. The majority of them reside in townships, farms, and informal settlements, often alongside South African citizens, a proximity that has historically rendered them vulnerable to anti-foreigner sentiment. The crisis that has unfolded since last April this year is the most severe to affect Malawians in many years. From late April 2026, organized vigilante groups, including one calling itself the March and March Movement, and later joined by Operation Dubula, and other local groupings, began threatening, physically attacking and displacing foreign African migrants across South African provinces. The Eastern Cape and KwaZulu-Natal were the initial flashpoints. In St. Francis Bay, approximately 270 Malawians were given a 7-day ultimatum to vacate the area. In Harding Town, KwaZulu-Natal, 147 Malawian nationals were barred from their workplace for over a month, leaving many destitute and facing eviction. Unfortunately, a significant number of the affected nationals held expired travel documents or had none on them and lacked the means to fund their own return home. By the end of May and through June, the violence had spread further to various areas in the Western Cape, Free State, and Gauteng provinces. Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable members, as the situation escalated, the Department of Disaster Management Affairs, DODMA, activated its emergency response plan an interagency task team comprising officers from the department, my ministry, and the Ministry of Health and Sanitation was dispatched to the Republic of South Africa to augment the efforts of our mission in Pretoria and consulate in Johannesburg, which had been inundated with distress calls from affected nationals. Government of Malawi, through the Malawi High Commission in Pretoria, facilitated the repatriation of the first group of distressed nationals, 154 in number, from Mossel Bay in the Western Cape, who returned home on 8 June 2026. It is with a heavy heart, Mr. Speaker, sir, that I inform this House of the tragic loss of life directly connected to this crisis. On 5th May 2026, a bus carrying fleeing Malawians was involved in a fatal crash in the Mutoko district, Zimbabwe, near the Nyamapanda border post, claiming 15 Malawi lives. On 7th May 2026, a passenger bus originating from Mzuzu, traveling through Limpopo province, South Africa, was involved in a fatal crash near Louis Church, in which 8 Malawians perished. Further fatalities have since been recorded among nationals in transit at the Nyamapanda and Mwanza border posts. Government facilitated the repatriation of the remains of the deceased and rendered support to survivors and bereaved families. In the case of the Louis Trichardt crash, the bus operator came in to bear the cost of the repatriation of the remains of the deceased nationals. Mr. Speaker, at this juncture, may I request the August House to rise and observe a minute's silence in honor of the departed nationals. Thank you. May their souls rest in peace.
Money transfer services, transport companies, and many others are South Africa owned. They employ Malawians, of course. They serve Malawians, but they are protected by the Malawian law. Right, Honorable Speaker? So we ask, should we now tell our people to close these businesses here? The answer is no. We cannot respond hate with hate. Malawians will not do that because we believe in Ubuntu. But South Africans must understand that brotherhood and investment work both ways. Right, Honorable Speaker? You cannot enjoy our market, or they cannot enjoy our market while our people are being attacked. Number 3, Right, Honorable Speaker, human costs are detaining brothers and sisters. I have really appreciated what has been included in the ministerial statement presented by the Honorable Minister this morning. The images that are coming from South Africa are very painful. Just last evening, I watched a clip, I think one of the MP's forums, where a young girl is actually complaining. And if you hear and listen to that clip, you would actually see that our people are in deep pains. Right, Honorable Speaker? Families are fleeing with only the clothes on their backs. Some are returning with young children who are entirely innocent, yet have become victims of circumstances they did not create. These children were born in South Africa. They speak African languages. They now find themselves stateless in their own minds. Right, Honorable Speaker, these returnees are not strangers. These are part of our society. They are Malawians, and we have a duty to receive them with dignity. My appeal to government, Right Honorable Speaker, is that, as the Minister has already alluded to, arising from these issues I have raised and the Minister has raised, we are appealing to the government of Malawi to act immediately and comprehensively as follows. Number one, diplomatic engagement, as he has already said, to summon the South African High Commission and send a high-level delegation to Pretoria immediately to demand protection for Malawians still in South Africa and compensation for those who have lost property and livelihoods. Number two, the National Resettlement Program. We need to establish a task force under the Department of Disaster Management Affairs, DODMA, and the Ministry of Homeland Security to provide land for settlement, temporary housing, and transport from the border to home districts. Number three, cushioning measures. We need to provide immediate food and non-food items, free health care for returnees, fast-track school placement for their children, psychosocial support and startup grants for traders and artisans. Number four, data and documentation. We need to work with chiefs and consuls to register all returnees so that no one is left behind. Number five, regional action. Just as alluded to in the ministerial statement, we need to push through SADC and the African Union for a regional protocol that criminalizes xenophobia and protects migrant workers and their families. Honorable Speaker, we must budget for this. We must treat this as a national emergency. In conclusion, Right Honorable Speaker, I will talk about One Africa. As I have always indicated in this House, that I promote one Malawi, one people, and one nation. That is extended globally, but also regionally. Honorable Speaker, Africa will not develop if we fight each other. Our borders were drawn by colonial imperialists, but our blood and our marriages, our labor, and our struggle are intertwined, as I have indicated about Yatuta Caesar and Clement Kadari. Right Honorable Speaker, South Africa must remember that Malawi helped build it. Malawi married into it, and Malawi hosted its leaders during their time of need. Malawi is part of South Africa, and therefore South Africa must respect us, and Malawi in turn must embrace its own. Right Honorable Speaker, in the spirit of one people, one continent, and one Africa, I thank you for your attention. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Leader of Opposition. Honourable members, remember that it's questions and observations, not debate. Let me recognize Honorable members, let me recognize Lilongwe Likuni and Lilongwe Mpenu. Get ready after Lilongwe Likuni.
Ghetto Prestige.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir, for recognizing the great people of Lilongwe constituency. I stand with a heavy heart with the issue that is happening in South Africa. Mr. President Cyril Ramaphosa must be remembered that the headquarters of Umkhonto we Sizwe was in Zambia. Zambia played a very big role to liberate South Africa. He must be remembered. To me, the constituency, I see that it's a state-organized xenophobia because the police are watching those people, they are moving with those people, and it simply means that the president is involved because the police are representing the state. Those people, they are chasing black people, but you see that the white people, they're still there. The same white people, they are the people who get the land of South Africa by genocide. So I urge the government to summon South Africa. We can even stop importing anything from South Africa because it needs action. With these few remarks, I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Lilongwe Lekuni, for your views. Let me now recognize, I had already recognized, is it Lilongwe? Was it Lilongwe Mpeno? Yes, please proceed, Honorable.
Mr. Speaker, sir, let me take this opportunity to thank you for granting the people of Lilongwe Mpeno an opportunity to make a contribution to the subject on the table. Mr. Speaker, sir, our people in South Africa are facing a situation that is very, very deplorable. And let me commend the action being taken by government at the moment, though the good could have been better, and the action being taken by individuals like Onjezan Kenani to ease the problems that our people are facing. Mr. Speaker, sir, in order to appreciate the magnitude of the problem at hand, one needs to understand the gross national product formula, GNP. When you look at the gross national product formula, the late former President Nelson Mandela first visited Malawi when he came out of prison. It was to appreciate the contribution Malawi made to the struggle. And Malawi is not an isolated case. When you talk about Zambia, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Tanzania, and other African countries, they all made contribution to the struggle. Of course, Mr. Speaker, sir, this is not to justify illegal migration. The point here is to advance all of us as Africans to embrace each other and acknowledge the fact that the boundaries that we have today were made by our colonizers. And moving forward, Mr. Speaker, sir, we need to work towards one Africa. Africa that will embrace each other. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is sad that today we should be talking about fellow Africans or Africans hating fellow Africans. That said, Mr. Speaker, sir, this tragedy underscores one thing: the need for us here back home to find a long-lasting solution, economic solution, or a solution to the problems our people are facing. We must work collectively. We must put our heads together to create an economic environment that will not force our people to go beyond the borders. That begins with the political leadership to make sure that we work towards an economic environment that supports everybody in this country and that makes sure that people do not see the need for them to leave, but stay here in Malawi. It is quite sad that you are hearing innuendos coming from the background. But, Mr. Speaker, sir, I must emphasize that we are facing a crisis, and that crisis requires all of us to hold hands to make sure that we provide an environment to our people that will make them forget the sad story that they have faced in South Africa. Mr. Speaker, sir, I submit.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Lilongwe Mpenu. It is an issue that we need to talk and discuss further, but looking at my time, it is health break.